Hey guys, how you doing? Okay, let's get into this. I'll open my soda and we'll start Wesley So versus Aronian. This is the one that he actually beat Aronian. So, just 1 second. I just gotta make sure I get this. I have a can. I just want to make sure it's clean. Yeah, it's clean. Good. Sometimes just gotta make sure. Okay, dokie. Oops, I know what that. I don't know how that got on there. Okay, I'm gonna talk about each move too, because we've been rushing kind of a little bit through too fast. Oops, come on. E4, E5, knight F6, knight C6, and bishop B5. The Roy Lopez. He plays A6. That's what Levon plays. And Wesley. Oh man, I am so sorry about that. I don't know how that happened. That was weird. That was a glitch on my part. Okay, A4, knight F6, and castles. What's usually played is B5, B3, bishop fianchettos to attack the pawn, and then you do this to get your, and then after it's played here, you sometimes can play here, or I've seen people play here and in there. They actually will, at this point, castle, and then you can play bishop, and then he may play here. Then what you do is you retreat back. That's the idea of playing here and then retreat back, is actually to weaken the h7 square, so that when he plays there, you drop your knight in. If knight takes, bishop takes, now you got a pin there, and so it's interesting. So what he does is Wesley castles, bishop e7, e1. This guards. See, I know what you're thinking. Why couldn't he have just taken, here, right? There's a sitch with knight to there, and then you could play there, and then you play bishop takes, pawn takes, and you can actually play a rook takes if need be, or what's mostly commonly played is knight takes, and then the bishop intercepts, because otherwise if you do some sort of move like this, it's a sad state of affairs. You get double attack, so you got to be careful. So that's kind of what's played usually. That's why Levon couldn't take with the knight. That's why he played e7, bishop e7, was now the threat of taking is for real. So e1's played. That's why e1 was played, to protect the pawn. b5 and bishop b3, which now this pawn, this bishop's on a really good square, really good. I mean diagonal, sorry. Because Levon castles and this pawn is pinned. That's the only problem with having this pawn out like this, is it leaves this whole diagonal open for the bishop for a counter strike. But see, you have to be careful. A4 is actually strong. A4 cements the bishop being able to later on go to A2 and then keep this diagonal attack forever open. A4 was played, and then Wesley played A5. This is a really interesting move. My teacher told me that if you can get this type of a move in, you've actually divided up his pawns. And so this is now a weakness, because beforehand the A pawn could have protected the B pawn, but now that a warrior has engaged the other warrior and separated him from his kind of unit for right now, This is a stray soldier, and it can be taken under heavy attack. So you just have to be careful when your opponent does that to you. And also, white has the same sitch, so it's equal. One soldier's becoming, kind of a hero at this moment. This one's dividing up the units. So a6 played, d3, and so now they're just developing normally. e6, bishop takes, and pawn takes. So now Wesley is an equal game. See, knight bd2, and then potentially dropping the knight into c4 is an idea, protecting this pawn. And also after that, maybe potentially playing bishop and taking scope on the pawn. Rook b. So now he's having to defend this because he lost a defender, Levon did, from his bishop. He doesn't want to play here. So the knight goes to b3. Now this knight guards this pawn. So it's like, who can hold their weak pawns? This pawn, a5 pawn, actually is really strong for white because it cramps the queen side. And that's the side Levon actually wants to get his attack going on. c8, queen c8. And so what he's going to try to do is potentially move this knight back and then play c5 and maybe reroute his knight in, potentially. He could even play here and then reroute it down there and play there and have a queenside majority attack happening. h3 was played, which neutralizes black's infiltration on g4, and it also allows now for the knight to drop into g5 and potentially bishop to g5. There's a lot of attack at this moment. So Levon dropped back rather than here, because he wanted this right here is kind of very remember, knight on the rim is grim or dim, or however they want to say it. It's not good. This gives him flexibility for 2 spots to jump to, so that after c5 he has an attack. Bishop e3 is what Wesley played. Bishop g5 is actually a stronger move, because if he plays bishop to he plays h6, then we just retreat our bishop back and we keep the pawn. Then if he plays here, we just provoked a weakness on the king side, which is a lot of air around the king. There's not a lot of security. His security is gone, and potentially we can even later on play queen up and sacrifice to open up the position at certain points of the game. But he didn't do that, so he played bishop e3, which makes sense. But the only problem is he's reacting to Levon's idea of c5. And c5 was played, which equalizes the playing field. So the knight retreats back, because Wesley doesn't want to have an attack and have his center kind of munched on. He doesn't want that to happen. He wants to, if that gets played, to take it with a knight, not with a pawn, because that's not what he wants. And Levon kind of did something that he wanted to, was if you notice, he pushed Wesley's troops back to, they're not really effective right now, but he potentially has the idea of going c4 and then potentially into b6, which is a really strong outpost for the knight, because there's no more c pawn to stop it from going there. Every pawn move leaves a weakness behind, and the c5 pawn move left the b6 pawn 6 square behind. So Wesley knew that, and because it's a closed game, he can pace himself with his knight to jump in. C6 was played, knight c6. C3, which is a really strong move. This actually is better than this, because if he takes here and you take back, the only point of entry is the rook, and that could easily be stopped. Like if he tries to infiltrate in here, you now have the ability to he has to come back, and then you can bring your knight in, and now you have some counter attacking chances. So just keep that in mind, that you learn computer lines and you start getting that. So b5 was played, knight b5, rook b5, knight, pawn push. Wesley goes for a interesting. I actually think this is better. I know he's probably worried something about that, but really you don't really have to worry about that, because he can potentially play knight there, and knight takes, bishop, pawn takes, and then knight retreats back, and kind of interesting. So he plays pawn to attack. E takes, C takes, D, A takes, and takes. And Wesley plays rook to A2, which is an interesting idea. Rook A4 has some point to it, but I really don't think it's the best. A4 has a point to, you're guarding this whole diagonal. You're also putting pressure on this knight, also this pawn. So if you can implant a rook here, and if he plays a queen there, you potentially have the ability to do an Alekhine gun. You can play here, and at this point, if he plays his knight back, you can play your rook over, and then take scope on this attack. And if he plays there, you bring your queen up with check. The rook intercepts, and then you triple up, and the queen moves. And now there's a threat on here, and the queen has to stay here, the rook has to stay, and pawn push really doesn't do that much, because then the queen can move, and you see the kind of power of the attack. And then if there, pawn, well, let me see, I don't know, do you actually take here? I think you have to. I believe you gotta take, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And then the pawn moves, and it's kind of not a fun thing that's gonna be happening here. So you just gotta keep that in mind. Yeah, you just bring up, it's equal, and then if queen happens, here's you take, and it's better for white. So just be on guard for that. So that's why A2 kind of was played, was to stop this advance kind of a little bit. Queen B7. Has a dual idea. Prepares for the push here to attack this and then get this going. Also, it attacks the B pawn. So Wesley plays B3, pawn B3. Come on, don't stall on me now. Oops. Don't fail on me now. Oops. Yikes. Yikesies, yikesies. Hold on, I apologize. My computer is having a little sitch. There we go, see? Okay, there we go. C2 was played. He played king h8, which is actually a mistake. He should have moved his knight and then kinda in his best try to get his queenside majority going. But this one pawn stops 3, so you get to see the power of one pawn stop. That was kind of a question mark move. And so knight should have moved back. Rook slides over. And so now Wesley starts to pile on the pressure. Knight takes, queen takes. And now the pawn that was under attack is defended, and Wesley's attacking Levon's pawn, and he's also attacking Levon's pawn. So twice. So it's like, ooh, what are you gonna do now? And so Rook D1 was played rather than taking here, which is tempting, because you remember that's under attack. So the bishop handles two things. It indirectly protects this pawn and that pawn and gives the tempo to the queen. Queen goes to c6, protecting. And let's see, I don't know if Wesley actually moved his rook. Oh, he did. So he did the correct move. I tried to remember. It's been a long time. That's under fire now, so the knight has to go to b6. And then the queen goes, rather than d2, or actually he did the correct move, knight, queen c2, and that gets everything reinstituted for an attack. Levon should have played all the way back to guard, but he didn't. He played queen c7, and that allowed for, it would have allowed for an infiltration of the rook. But Wesley played something different. And then if the knight, if it would have played here, he could have won. And if he had taken there, takes. If the bishop moves in, the queen would move in, and he has got two passed isolated pawns. So interesting for sure. And so now you have to keep hold of everything, but he's up a whole pawn. So Wesley plays e6 though, kind of to kick the bishop out, which isn't a bad move. Bishop retreats, and so now Wesley plays a really strong move. He uses a pin. The pin on the queen is for real. So, and it's permanent, so he has to move. Then Levon plays an inaccurate move, which was c8. But that's actually incorrect. He should have played queen to queen takes pawn, and then if rook takes b5, takes, and then knight comes in, and now the queen's forked. So he has to exchange down, and he would have had it wouldn't have been bad for him. Could I tell you, it's like, to see these lines is like insane. You know, you're under pressure. You're in the candidates tournament, and you have your pawn attacked here, and your rook attacked, and what you're looking at is this idea. And so Levon plays rook ac1. C8, sorry, which is not the correct move. And Wesley, rather than taking here, which most people would have taken, which actually would have been the wrong move line, even though he's up a whole, exchange. But yeah, Levon has enough pawn majority on the queen side to merit the loss of that rook for an exchange. And so Wesley doesn't want to actually do that. He he plays knight takes pawn, which then the queen takes, and this right here they would have said would have been like an semi-exclam kind of move. It's a really interesting idea. It threatens knight f7, so the king has to actually move out, and then now you can reroute in, and you're taking scope on a lot of attack. But Wesley played actually the best move, best computer line. So it's basically a human line. Rook F. King G8 was actually best in this scenario. So King G8 was best. And what it does is it gets his king out of the corner, and it just makes it so that his king is more central, just in case they go to an endgame. But that kind of moves a piece twice. Also, this is a defended, yes, it's defended here, but really I don't know. Now there's a threat of here, and you don't want that to happen. Queen c3 was a slight inaccurate move, and Wesley played also an inaccurate move. Queen a2 is actually strong because it takes scope, it protects this pawn, takes scope on that pawn, which would be a double attack on if the queen got here of the knight and the rook. So the queen would have to actually retreat out, and then the queen would have to actually come over here and defend. But then yeah. So and would defend, and that's the whole thing. So that's the idea about that. And let's see here. But it makes sense if you're thinking about it from a human move. Queen b1 actually guards everything. It keeps the threat alive. So something similar to there. And that's the idea. And let's see, Levon actually recovers a lot of his attack, a lot of his loss. He would have been like another 1.5 pawns down in positional play. So Wesley moves his bishop back. It's kind of odd. He's trying to reroute his bishop from bishop to e2, I mean e3, sorry, to c1 to b2. To take scope on the bishop, and to take a look at here for the knight to jump in, a double attack. There we go. So that's could be played, and Levon goes wrong because I think he was down in time in this scenario. And so that's the whole idea. Is e5, he loses his advantage, but if you notice, he gets a connected to on the king's queen side, so it would make sense for a player to actually do that. So yeah. So there we go. And that's the idea. C4, and he's going to take back. Wesley does, and so he loses his majority. But in reality, in his mind, Levon, he's thinking that he can get these two passers going. So it makes kind of makes sense for the idea. Rook E is actually played, so the pawn should retreat back to keep hold here. That was an inaccurate idea, and Wesley drops the the attack of a lifetime on him. Queen takes, rook takes. Because if he takes here, the bishop takes the, and that was what was really interesting, that Levon walked into an attack like that. That was kind of one of the losing moves potentially, though he does have that. That's a sitch. So and let's see here. So takes, rook takes, G takes. So Levon's, I guess, hope is these two pass pawns, connectors, trying to get him going. E4, bishop F6, and that holds. So he is trying to get his position flowing. Excuse me. Queen to D3 was played, and that what that does is that protects the bishop. Also takes attack here, attacks there. So and the only problem is if that's played, he loses whatever advantage he has. So bishop, queen B3, rook moves, B5, which is a mistake. Bishop takes. And then A5, which is the losing move. This has to be, you have to play back kind of to stop a little bit of this from happening. And then you kind of got to get your rook and bishop involved, otherwise you're going to be in a problem. Because this is what happens if you get to that line. And it's still losing, but this just loses quicker. It's the H8. And now the bishop's under fire. So queen check was correct. And then now what you're doing is you're doing a triple attack. So he has to attack here. And by doing that, you win the bishop. And it's basically over at this point. But he plays B. H. He wins the pawn there. Bishop goes to D, check. Best is E6, and then queen check, and the king has to move back. So check, king G2, H, and the queen comes there, H8. Levon's playing strong, you gotta admit that. And he pushes. If he takes there, bishop takes. And kinda, maybe you can hold it, maybe, but I doubt it. He's trying to hold with all his might. H3 was actually an error. You need to get these boys flowing down the board, these soldiers. So, queen attacks the pawn. It makes sense that you would think, take here, and you take, and then what you do is you get these guys flowing, but potentially, yeah, you could retreat back and you check. If he plays there, you play there, and if he takes, and you win. So G4, could G4, okay, check. And then E, and Levon resigned here, because really there's no, it's basically all over, because what happens after this is he'll just win the pawn here. And now these three passers come to life. You just come here, and then there's really no way to stop, and you just get this one. You can actually check first. If the bishop intercepts, then you check here, and then now you can check and win the rook. So it's like game over. So now we'll start into puzzles. That was game 6, so I gotta write that down and make sure. We will do game 7 tomorrow of Wesley, but we need to get into our puzzles now. So let's do this thing. Let's start on our upward momentum of good. Okay. Let's see here. If you guys have any ideas, I'm more than happy to have you put in some moves to help as well. That's why I have the chat bar on the side. This bishop is not protected, so potentially there could be an idea of an attack like that. He might, if he does that, he might try something like that. So I'm not sure if that actually applies to anything. And this move also opened up this, so you have to think that it gave up this square. That's unprotected. That knight is very difficult. It's still protected, but it's awkwardly positioned. I think what he was trying to do, probably to reroute it and see if he can win the e4 pawn, but I don't know. Let's see here. Just gotta get a drink of water. I get a drink of water real quick. Okay, get this. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's go back just a second, kind of see what his idea is. Because sometimes it's better to get a sneak peek at the idea. So we could do in passing if need be. Which might be the idea now that I think about it. Because the in passing attacks the bishop and the other bishop. Let's see, do we get anything by taking? Yeah. There we go. There we go. So if we play knight takes, knight takes, knight takes knight, bishop takes. Well, let's see if we can get an idea of kind of where we're going with this, because this is kind of a different line. If he plays rook here, he moves his king, so rook here moves his king, so that doesn't work. play there, that doesn't do anything because the rook could just take. Man, this is interesting. See, knight takes knight, so if knight takes knight, bishop takes pawn. He's not going to want to go here, because if he does that, we win. He can't go there, so his only move would be there. So here, 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 there. I don't really see anything better than to take the knight, because he's got enough attackers to actually win our knight, and we don't have enough defenders. Unless we play rook here, and then if knight takes, we win a rook. Here, if bishop takes, we play knight there, and knight takes, we win a rook. So I believe that might be the move. And if takes here, takes here, and then we win the knight. So I believe that's got to be the move. Let's see if we take with the knight. The knight takes, and we take here. If we take with the bishop, it doesn't do the same. Yeah, because then he can't really take. He can't really take there, because if he does, we take. Bishop goes there, and we still win. The knight has to take at this point. And then if we play knight takes. I mean, rook takes rook. King takes, and that would be mate, so the bishop has to actually take, then we win the knight. Yeah. There we go. Wow, 4 pawns, that's 70 points. Well, it's better than none, right guys? So, or a negative, so we gotta think positive. Let me see here. If we take knight takes f4, pawn takes f4, we take with check. Because this looks tempting, but it really doesn't yield anything for us. So here, and Let's see, what could he play at that? He might try there. Then he loses the... So if he plays here, he might try here, and then we can always retreat back. Yeah, knight takes has to be the move. Okay. I believe we just retreat our knight back, but I'm trying to see, is there anything else more forcing that we can play? There is potentially knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes, but really we don't accomplish much with that. He still has his majority, and so whatever advantage we did have is gone. And here he really can't get this going too fast, because we can always play up here. Then if he pushes, we play down there, and we're attacking the queen and holding the square. So I believe that's got to be the move, yeah. So just gotta keep it tough. Keep it tough. I'll be right back. Just keep looking at the puzzles, guys. Alright, I'm back, and let's see what we can do here. Let's see, what did that move leave behind? What Aikido position did it leave behind? Well, it left this whole file open. So potentially maybe h4, pawn takes h4. Maybe something like that. Oh, wait a second. Rook takes, king takes, push. Takes. Okay, so here, here, there, and queen. Oh, cool. Good job. Well, is that a good thing? It depends where you start out. That's the whole thing. You know what? If you're starting there, you just continue to improve and you'll continue to keep going up. Try it. If we queen now, it's a draw. Trying to see if knight takes, what do we get? Oh man, then ay ay ay. Oh boy, boy, boy. Let's see here. Let's see if we queen. He's gonna actually take here. Then he'll come over here, and he'll take, and then he'll come back, and he'll have perpetual indefinitely. Ooh. Yeah, B3 does that, right? Yeah. Wow, you're right on that. I missed that totally. Yeah, b3 is the move. And then now we can queen. Huh, that was funny. I can't believe I missed that. I don't know why I thought I had to push and I couldn't have done that. That's good find there. That was like, wow, that was right there. Nice. Okay, dokie. Wow, the queen really put itself on to a not such a lovely position for sure. Let's see, if we played knight there attacking the rook, we can actually win knight, I believe. But is that our plan though? Is that what we want to do? We could play bishop f5. That isn't interesting. Yeah. Bishop f5 is big, so that's an interesting move sequence. I agree. Yeah, you know what? We got to keep pushing forward, never give up. You know, look for those small changes in the position. So like if we played bishop f5, bishop takes, pawn takes, that attacks the, and so if moves takes, bishop takes, yeah, well, I was just thinking that even if he takes here, we can take because it's protected by the bishop. Then when the queen moves, we take. And then if takes, we take, and then the queen takes. But I kind of like that best, actually. Well, maybe. Oh, we could take there. Takes with check. Our takes right away might actually do the job too. And then when the queen moves away, we just take. There's actually 3 lines you can do. There's this line here and then that. And so you got to choose which one you want to go down. Let's see, if we played there, he could take with his queen. Well, he can't take with his queen, he could take with the bishop, but let's see, here, 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 here. No, we don't want to take because then a knight could take back. So let's see, here, 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 here. There. Let's see, here, here, there, I'm not sure yet if... Because I believe that... Let me see here. If we take there, queen takes, pawn takes, knight can't move there, so you'd probably move there. Our takes, 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 yeah. Huh. That is interesting. Trying to see. Boy, this is a deep puzzle for sure. It must be just... Yeah. The only sitch is there's that, and if we take, he could just take there. Well, we're actually down a piece at this moment. So we were thinking about actually taking. Huh. Wow. That was in your face. Good find there. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought for some reason you could just take here and then we'd have to take there, but I guess I didn't see that. This doesn't work. We were gonna take a look at that. That's, I believe, equal. And then he moves there, yeah. Huh. It tells you sometimes you're too close. You're too close to the tactic, so that's why you get a outside opinion on a tactic, and there it is. It was like right there. You know what? It's just right there. Good job. That would have been sad. We would have missed a tactic that was right there, but we didn't. So, ooh, this looks interesting. With a so are we missing? Am I missing anything with a takes here? I don't think I'm missing anything, because if he takes here, we just take the queen. We missing anything? Am I missing any sneaky tactic or anything? No, the knight's hanging, so he would actually have to take back. And then we take the queen, yeah. Huh. There we go. That was an interesting tactic for sure. Discovery check tactic. Let's see here. We have a possible check, or takes, and then we checkmate. See, you go check here, the king moves, you check here, it's forced to take, otherwise it'd be mate. You check here, he intercepts, you take, he intercepts, you take, he intercepts, you take, and it's mate. Boom. There we go. Oh, don't tell me we have something similar to another line that's like this. Are we missing? Am I missing any? Oh, he did. He moved a different move sequence. I think it ends the same though. Let's see. There. 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 And then takes after you take there. Is there any change in the scene? Anything? No. Yeah, that's. It tells you that must be a common position. So if you guys want to like take the number down or something, if you guys want me to go back and get you the puzzle number, and you guys want to kind of, if you have like a puzzle saving thing or something on there, I don't really know how to save puzzles, but I'm not sure if you can. But if you can, you can like take a screenshot of that, and that must be very common because 2 games were played close to similar in that setup. Let's see here. So takes with check. Let's see, takes, check, queen takes, and then we take G takes F6. Oh, wait a second, we can't take, my bad. That's not a happy spot right there. No, 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 we don't want that. Nope. That would not fare well with us. That's a weak point right there. Well, let's see. I like your idea of taking here. G takes. Then if takes. Huh. Yeah. See, that is interesting. I'm trying to. Let's see. Are we missing it? Because there's something here that we're missing. We can't take here because he takes there. Or maybe we could just play here. That would guard there, wouldn't it? At that point, and it would attack the queen. So if we played bishop takes, queen takes, knight G, knight G4. Sorry, for some reason I had my brain was like, look. Okay, maybe two-way tactics, but hey, you can never have two-way tactics. You gotta love them. And it attacks there and guards that point, so that the fork doesn't happen. Well, the fork could still happen with that. Dang. See, this right here is our soft underbelly. So we have to keep that in mind when we play. We also have to keep this point right here. There's 2 points that we have to keep focused on. These 2 points. Because the queen could check here, and the knight could drop in. Knight could drop in here, and the queen could check. So. Thinking about playing bishop takes, knight there, knight here, takes. No, and then he takes with the rook, and no, we don't get anything after that. Ouch. And it's something to do. We have to eliminate that so that we can potentially win that. So we're so close too of getting a checkmate idea too. So there has to be something to deal with this. So maybe if we move our knight to G4, queen takes G4, pawn takes, and if bishop takes, which bishop wouldn't be able to take at that point, then we could take. So here, there, and that would protect the knight and block the queen from infiltration and stop here. So let's see here. Could we actually castle? Well, if we castled, I don't know. Can we actually? I think we can castle. Let's see. Let's just go to 16 and see what we got here. Let's see if we castled king, queen side. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight goes there. Check. Takes. King would actually have to take first, and then we can move our queen. Huh. That is interesting. Didn't think about castling. That does, yeah, castle queen side does take care of a lot of problems. Are we exposed to anything at that point, though? No, I like castling. Oh, we can't. We can't castle queenside. We must have already moved. Let's see. Yeah. We already moved. So back to this idea then. Let's see, here, here, here. So there. And that has to be the, it's gotta be the move. Okay. That's okay. We'll get that back. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get it back. Castling would have been a good idea, though, if we could have castled that. Actually would have solved all of our sitch. Okie dokie. We'll do like one or two more. Probably two more. And then I got a log. Let's see here. Let me see. Doesn't look like that this rook could be a problem or anything here, huh? But isn't that odd that potentially it is a sitch? Let's see. Boy, this is a let's see here. I'm thinking potentially maybe just bishop f2, and even if the queen retreats back, we just push and we have a double attack here and a double attack there. I believe it's this. Oh, okay. So it was something like that. Is everything good? I tried queen d4. The only problem with queen d4 is knight guards there. But if we drop our bishop back, and if the queen, like we'll say the queen moves back here, we actually can push and we're attacking the bishop and the knight. So if we play here, let's say she retreats back, we still could play here, takes, moves, and then pushes, and we still have an attack. So that bishop f2 has to be the move. Did you get to see the puzzle back there? Did I do it too fast? Do you want me to go back and do the puzzle again, or did you get to see how it worked? The reason that I looked at that actually guards the bishop and the queen. This has to be the move. Then you push, and then you take, and you got it. Because I'll show you what happens with the other one. It's not that your idea isn't good. He just has a spot that he can defend, and we're still ahead, but we would have won. We wouldn't have won a piece by retreating your bishop back. If the queen retreats here, and then let's say you whoa, you can actually play there. That's right. Then when the bishop retreats, or if the bishop's gonna want to retreat back, then you can push here. Or I was thinking that if he plays there, you could play here. Yeah, you still win, but yeah. Do you have any questions about this puzzle? Okay. Maybe we'll move on to one more. I think I could do one more. We'll see. Let's see if I could do one or two. I'll see. I know I could do at least one more. But that was an interesting one. More of a soft move sequence. The idea was good. The opponent just had the counter of knight to, I believe it was e7, protecting the queen. I looked at that. I was like puzzled. I was thinking, how do we do this? And then all of a sudden, I saw the bishop can move back, and it's like the rook move was this one thing. An Aikido principle in chess. It could be a wasted move. So like the player who we played against that moved the rook wasted a move. He did a null move, which is a move that didn't do anything. but a time waster. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if we take. Rook takes a knight on f5. Oops, queen takes would be totally a shame. Totally. If we play that, he's got to check. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I don't like that. We play here. He takes there. Then we can actually take there. So we can win 2 pieces. So it takes, and then takes. Let's see, am I missing any counter that he has? Does he have a counter at all to our move? The only move that he could play is there. Let me play there. No, well, he could double up here, but that still doesn't do anything. We just retreat our. We can potentially even check if we needed to. If he comes up, we can play queen check. Or maybe even bishop check. Yeah, I believe it's that here and there. So that looks like the win. I don't see any other moves that he could play. No, this has to be the best. There we go. And then if he doubles up, oh, he attacked there. Okay. When it comes down. Yeah, so something like that. Okay, we'll do one more. Wow, we're making short time of this. I only thought we were gonna be able to do, one. We've done lots in that amount of time, because we haven't doubted our choices, and that's huge. That's also a principle of Aikido, that you don't doubt what your senses tell you to do. And it's also an innate ability that the Lord's given us too, that we have to keep that in mind. Let's see here. Wow, okay, we have a potential threat of mate here. So by playing here, he's going to have to play bishop. Excuse me. at this point, we just take the pawn, and I believe we're winning. Maybe not. Check. Check. Mate. So this has to be, that is the move. Do we take with the pawn, or do we take with queen? Boy, this... Okay, if we take with the pawn, we lose our point of entry for like later checks and stuff. But we do, if we take with the pawn, he plays here, we can play check. Then we play check. Then he moves back, then we mate. So pawn takes here, push, check, king takes, check, checkmate. So that's one way. Takes, here, push. If he plays here, we do check. If he takes, then we could actually... Then what we'd have to do is move our queen in at that point. Then okay, here, 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 there, queen, there, takes, and then that'd be checkmate. But he'd have to infiltrate there, there, and then he could play there. Then we takes, and that'd be mate. So pawn takes has to be the move. And I'll show you what happens if he plays here. You push here. If he plays there, you have to you can actually move in here. And then if he queens, takes, bishop takes, check, he moves here, takes, he moves here, takes, and you get mate. And so you could just take at that point. You take there, check, here, takes, and it's basically all over. It's all over. Well, with that, I think I'm gonna log before we get into another longer one. We did good, guys. You guys did great. You guys saw a lot of the ideas, and that was a good find on that F6 move. Pawn takes F6. So we have to always remember to keep pushing forward, to keep going, and always study. Remember, learn from your mistakes, and then you'll get better as well. there's always a plan in the position. You just got to find it. Be patient. Take your time. Remember, that's how it goes. You have to take your time. And always remember to, if you ever get, upset that you can't find a puzzle, stop, breathe, and believe that the Lord could help you. And so, guys, as Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus. And as I say, God bless, guys. And I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Be blessed. Keep studying. Keep getting better and using the mind the Lord's given you. Okay, I'll see you guys. I hope you guys are blessed, if it's nighttime there or morning. But okay, I will see you guys tomorrow at same time. So be blessed. Bye bye, guys.